618, Todd Jeffries and Don Pryor.
Hi.
Here on the Todd and Don
Everybody.
Show. Just got a thought about this homeless crisis that we're dealing with. We heard from the president earlier this morning, about 20 minutes ago, talking about the homeless crisis in Democrat-controlled cities all across this country.
He was addressing Austin, Texas, even though he didn't say the words Austin, Texas. He was addressing Austin, Texas directly.
He was blaming Mayor Steve Adler for our current crisis.
And elsewhere around the country.
Or at least the Democrats' agenda and their idea.
He was addressing the problem we have here very, very
Let me throw this
directly.
question out there. I've been trying to think of a way to explain this and get this out of my head. And bear with me. And my attitude and opinion might change based on what you say and what callers have to say. But if you're involved in a car crash and you're unconscious, Don, and you're all mangled up and in horrible condition, near death, the fire department is going to save you.
I hope so.
They're going to pull you out of that car using the jaws of life. They're going to hand you off to EMS and put you in an ambulance and rush you to the emergency room and try to save your life.
I sure hope so.
Without your consent.
That would be
it's
nice.
It's kind of an understanding that's what we do, right?
Yeah, that's what we pay them to do.
Right.
Yes, it's what they train to do.
Why can't we do that with the severely mentally ill in our city?
Go on.
And we know who they are. Those people that you see them on our streets shouting at imaginary monsters.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Grabbing at things that aren't there.
Trapped inside their head.
Yep.
They scream at those imaginary monsters all day long. Can you imagine waking up every day and repeating that cycle? I can't imagine that. It's a horrible sickness, right?
Well, some days it feels that way on the show, but I know what you're getting at.
Screaming at the monsters in your head. You find a cold place to sleep. You maybe dig in a dumpster for some food, and then you wake up and do it all over again.
Right.
They have no idea what's going on in reality. They can't decide between yes and no, right and wrong.
No.
They don't know up and down.
They don't know that their situation is not good in many cases.
Why can't we go get them and save them?
With risking violating their human rights?
Is it? Is it violating their human rights? They're trapped inside their own mind in misery.
Their constitutional rights.
It really?
All their rights.
Is that a violation of their... Why is it a violation of your constitutional rights if you're in a car crash and we save you? But if you're trapped in your mind and we save you, why is that a constitutional right? Why can't we go get them, tranquilize them, take them to a hospital...
Tranquilize them.
Keep them medicated. Why not?
What's the preferred dart?
It seems
What are you
like a
talking
more
about?
humane way to deal with it. Right? Other than them out on the streets victimizing innocent people, which do you want? Those suffering horrible mental illness out there just living on the streets, living in that misery themselves, possibly hurting other people? Or do you want to take them out of that dangerous place where they hurt other people and put them in a safe place where they can get the medication that they need? It just seems like a more humane way to go.
Well,
we wouldn't allow a dog on the streets like that.
So what you're talking about is taking someone that you say, please come with us. We're going to make your life better, basically, in a nutshell. And the potential is there for them to say no because some of these folks don't know the difference between yes and no.
Sure.
They can't answer any questions.
I'm not talking about the people that have chosen to be off the grid and sleep on the streets. I'm not talking about the heroin addicts. I'm not talking about the alcoholics. I'm talking about the ones that we know. And we know. The police listening right now, they know who they are. The ones that are certifiable mentally ill.
Yeah.
Why can't we go help them?
You know, the scenario you're painting to a lot is going to sound really, really ugly, but I don't know.
Why is it ugly to help someone and save them from a horrible life?
I completely agree with you. It sounds really complicated, ugly, potentially cumbersome, awkward, whatever negative connotation you want to put it. It will hook up with it, but I don't know what the hell else you would do, Todd. And it's also money, and it would take money.
Fine.
It's money that I'm ready to spend, man,
Fine.
because
I don't want people sleeping on the streets like that. I really don't. The mentally ill that can't choose. You know what I mean? They can't choose a better life for themselves.
Yeah.
Because they're sick. They need a doctor.
I don't know a better solution than to say you're coming with us.
I think the conversation needs to at least begin there, and I'm willing to bend and come back from that a little bit if somebody has better ideas.
What else do you do with somebody that?
But this mayor is not talking about ideas at all.
No,
nobody on the city council is talking about ideas to solve the problem. They
too risky.
They say the goal is to get them into permanent housing, but yet none of the money that we're spending even talks about affordable, permanent housing.
No, it doesn't.
Unless those big bond packages are actually buying homes for these people. then they're not going to be, this problem is not going to be solved. It's not solving the problem. Every penny does not solve the problem of putting them in a home.
Well, again, I mean, this is on the heels of Donald Trump addressing this directly over the weekend and talking to San Francisco, L.A., Seattle, certainly to Austin, same issues there. And he sees the problem, and it's what we've been talking about for a long time now.
Yeah, but somebody's going to call and they're going to say, yeah, but there's going to be a problem. There's going to be an orderly that mistreats or beats up or roughs up or, abuses some patient. Well, yeah, and if that happens, then we arrest their ass and lock them up.
It's still going to be a much safer, better situation for that person all around.
All right.
And it is money we'll have to spend, but the fact is that's just be part of our existence, because we have people out there that are not fit to ever live among us in society, in daily life.
I guarantee
that's just the cruel reality.
The police chief, the district attorney, the mayor, they have a list. They may not have a list, but they could create a list. They know who the extreme offenders are in our homeless community.
Yeah.
The ones that have 2, 3, maybe a couple of dozen, infractions and citations and interactions with police over the past couple of years. The habitual offenders.
Yes.
Why can't a judge put the bitch on them?
Right.
The habitual offender, and lock them up a little bit longer, or send them to some sort of insane asylum.
Well, Donald Trump sees a situation that's spinning out of control. It sounds like he's on the way to addressing it directly, and this will piss a bunch of people off.
Jump in here at 512-836-0590. 638, Todd Jeffries and Don Pryor.
Bless your heart.
Here on the Todd and Don Show. Join us at 512-836-0590. You heard the story there in the news. Austin Mayor Stephen Adler meeting with city officials across the country at the U.S. Conference of Mayors this week, hoping to find some better ways to deal with our Austin homeless crisis.
We're talking about...
Here's the mayor.
Spending a fair amount of time with the mayor of Los Angeles and the folks on the ground in Portland and Seattle and San Francisco that we can avoid the extent of the challenges.
Mayor, shut the front door. Do not go talk to those officials in Portland, Seattle, Los Angeles, or San Francisco.
Obviously, they have great ideas.
They have horrible ideas, Mayor. Please do not bring back any ideas from those cities. Please do not. Pete in Bastrop. Good morning, Pete.
Hey, Pete.
Good morning, gentlemen. Todd, you briefly touched on something that I tried to bring up on another conversation in the past about how we once had asylums and everything. The feds took them over. They got even worse. And I'm still convinced that that's what we need to do, is bring back some of the old Catholic or church-run asylums that, they had some problems, and that's why the feds ended up taking over. But the feds never hold themselves accountable. They made them way worse. They were doing experiments on them, and they had to shut them down.
No, you're absolutely right. Those mental institutions of the 50s, 60s, 70s, and early 80s, they had to be shut down because there were some serious problems. Geraldo shut them down. The problem is we did not replace those asylums with anything. I take that back. We did replace those asylums with a jail cell.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, the county lockup.
A very, very temporary, much more temporary than the asylums as well. The stays are much shorter.
And I don't want to offend our friends in the faith community. You know, the folks that go to First Baptist Church of Austin, the Lutherans, the Catholics, the Presbyterians, all the non-denominational churches here in town. They all collectively do good things to help the homeless and even more. But why would a church here locally do anything raising money, sending groups to South Africa or South America when you got a real crisis right here on the ground in Austin, Texas? I'm just curious.
You're talking about like mission trips and things like that?
Yeah, how about a mission trip, First Baptist Church in the heart of your city? How about that? And they may do a lot. I don't know exactly what they do, but in this conversation, you don't hear a whole lot of the faith community stepping up and helping those who are less fortunate. I mean, you are pro-life, right?